Welcome to the Marvel Alliance podcast, where we cover anything and everything to do with the Marvel Universe. In the comics, TV, and movies, we will go from the Mojoverse to Earth 616 to New Asgard in order to bring the Marvel Universe right to you. I'm the man without fear, Chris.
I'm your friendly neighborhood Brent.
I'm the podcaster of mischief, Travis Snell.
Alliance Assemble. Volume 123. And we've got someone coming back into the portal. He can't, he's like a bad penny. He'll always turn up.
It's
Mr.
new
Travis.
content, new Marvel content. He had to show up.
Exactly. I said, out of the whole, I looked at the calendar. I said, I need to be on the I Am Groot review. Out of all the reviews you guys are going to be doing, not Black Panther,
Never.
Not She-Hulk, not Moon Knight. I was on Moon Knight, but still, Groot that's the main event, But no, I'm happy to be back, like officially. I know I was on the crossover, so we did for Comic-Con, but back on the official panel, official show. It's good to be back in the red.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. Well, how has your all's week been?
Good. Overall, as people know, I'm on vacation, so I've been podcasting up, but it's been good. I've been catching up. I didn't know if I was going to watch it, but I've been watching The Sandman. I'm enjoying that. Never read a comic book in my life about it, but I was like, okay, I'm home. I'm watching this. Obviously, Groot, which we're going to talk about, and lots of beach. Today's storm day, so it shouldn't happen. If I get cut out, that would be because my power went out. It shouldn't. I think the thunderstorms are gone. But other than that, lots of beaches and soaking up while I can, because we still don't have school until another month. So,
Nice.
Yay.
Very good. How about you, Brent?
Busy. We have school in 11 days. Another month. Oh, my God, the amount of time that is. And we're in the middle of roughly preparing 25,000 devices to go out. So busy is the word I'm going to use.
Yeah, no, it's Aaron and the kids came home yesterday, so I'm a much happier person now. And the time away makes the heart go fonder. So it's definitely good to have a full house again. But, hello, Christopher Evans. Welcome to the show.
Anytime we get a notification from him on Twitter, I'm always like, "Oh, it's Chris Evans. We've done it. We've reached the pinnacle." And it's but I'm still always happy that it is this Christopher Evans. But every time it fools me. One time live on Geekverse, it fooled me. I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Okay, it's just a good guy, Chris Evans."
I can honestly say it's never fooled me once.
No, I'm waiting.
No, Christopher Evans. I know. I mean, he's a long-time listener, so I know who we're talking about.
Long-time listener, not a first-time caller.
That's right.
All right, let's get the lovely plugs out of the way. So we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network with 8 shows. On Mondays, we got Ranger Alliance alternating bi-weekly with a Slice of Film. On Tuesdays, DC Alliance. Wednesdays, Superhero Discussions. Well, weekends now, superhero discussions. One day, maybe back to because of Harley Quinn, but typically Wednesdays, superhero discussions. Thursday, Star Wars Alliance. This show on Fridays. I'll walk through the multiverse on Saturdays, bi-weekly. And then my show, World's Finest True Believers, dropping monthly on the last Sunday of the month. We also have a Patreon, so if you want to throw a couple of shekels our way, we want to thank our patrons. We can't do this without your support. We have 2 tiers. We got our $1 tier as our tip jar to say, hey, you think we're doing a good job? And then we've got our $5 tier with ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon-exclusive shows. Brent and I have recorded episode 8, and what do we cover on that episode of the great MCU rewatch?
Thor: The Dark World. And that should drop on Monday. Monday. I'm asking you like I'm not the one who scheduled it. I'm pretty sure Monday is the day.
Well, not next Monday.
No, you're right. Monday. I don't even know where we're at. It's Monday the 22nd, the first day of school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Technically, because I have a question, because I debate this with Emma all the time. Technically, wouldn't that still be next Monday? Because the 15th would be this Monday, right? If you're talking about this Monday, it's the upcoming one. She disagrees with me all the time, but I still push this as like next Monday. That's the next one. This Monday.
Grammatically, I think it's acceptable.
Grammatically, I'll still disagree, but here we are.
It's definitely not what I meant.
I'll lean to the principle.
Well, for those that are waiting with bated breath to hear about the cinematic classic that is Thor: The Dark World at that point, we do actually have positive things to say about it, but we do. But we also have the first 7 episodes, including the one that closed out the first phase of the MCU, the Avengers, and Item 47 that are all on there. On top of, we've got Travis's top 10.
What's next? I can't wait. I'm always on bated breath.
It's
to see
Travis's
what-
top 5. Don't
Top
make
5.
him do
Oh,
that
yeah,
whole
top
work.
5. I messed it up. Yeah.
Unless
and
I
then
missed something, it's top
No,
5.
you're gonna inspire
Yep.
him now. Now he's gonna be like, I need 10.
He needs 10, yeah. Joe's Multiverse Minutes. We've got Clay's for the first time. Katie's looking at the canon and non-canon of the comics and the novels. So lots of great stuff for our patrons. Hope you're enjoying all the great content. But if you can't join us on Patreon, we totally understand. But if you can give 30 to 90 seconds and rate review the Marvel Line solo feed, G-Way feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcatcher of choice may be. At last, and certainly not least, we've got our official sponsor, OrganicPriceBooks.com, for our omnibus hardcover collected edition needs. JP and the crew at OPB have got it going on with immaculate packaging, excellent customer service, ships around the world, all different options, payment options, all that. We got Nova, we got Spider-Man versus Venom Omni, we've got some Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood Treasury Edition, Peter David Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy. We got all these on FOC. Pre-order them now to get that extra percentage off. And while you're at it, use that code MarvelGUA at checkout to take $2 off every single order. We want to thank them for being our official sponsor. All right, gentlemen, we have new content. It's the second time actually on Marvel Alliance we have reviewed a short. The first time was The Simpsons and The Simpsons.
You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So this is the second time we're doing a series of shorts at that point, but these, I'll just say right now, these were delightful.
Okay, I have like one legitimate complaint about these,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
and I got to get it out of the way. Why is it not a show? Why is it not a season and just one thing? It's just a bunch of... They do this with, I think, the Forky ones and a bunch of other little shorts. So I'm like, just... I guess it pumps up the numbers. You have 4 or 5 different items you just added. No, just one show, multiple episodes. All right, that's my complaint. This stuff was hilarious. It was delightful. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I agree. It's a weird thing that's not just a show and you go thing. And also there's some shows that have, I guess they want you to see the credits every time, but there's some of them that have the just watch it all together where it's just, you don't got to go episode to episode. But yeah, I'd agree. It's just a weird Disney Plus thing. No, I enjoyed these all. From that first preview we got, I was always surprised by the animation, and I never thought this was going to be bad or not enjoyable. I like Groot, and this is more focusing on baby Groot, and he's always doing some fun adventures. I love that weeks ago, James Gunn was like, well, this is not exactly like canon. It's like, it's canon adjacent. It's like, there's nothing in here that breaks like canon at all. It's not even something he had to say. It's like, oh, I don't know where it fits.
Well,
He
was asked.
Oh, I know, but why just say it could just be canon. It's Groot just like doing little things that could have been like while they're on a planet or on a ship. Like nothing is like off the side. So it was kind of funny that way. But I do agree with some of the sentiments that I think this is fun for Disney Plus, but I think they maybe did miss an opportunity of not playing these before the movies. I think that would have been really fun the same way Pixar does it. And I think because I bet you there's going to be tons of people that may not even watch this. That may just skip over and go, oh, that's something else. But I think if you were to watch it on the movie theater and then, oh, that's cool, you'd watch it back at home, or maybe later on people might miss and be like, oh, I missed the other one. So I think that because they are all 6 minutes, but they're not a full 6 minutes. Say they're probably like
They're like 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 or 4 minutes.
I'll tell you right now, when it started with the Marvel fanfare, it says, well, there's 2 minutes. There's a good minute already gone. And when they fast forward, it's like, oh, that was good. That was nice.
The only time I accept skip intro on that particular opening.
So I think that was honestly kind of a missed opportunity. I know they want to push stuff for, even if they would have done one episode before a movie and then watch the rest on Disney Plus tomorrow. So not that that's a negative. I think these were all well made. They are fun. They're cute. You can easily watch with kids. I think now my kids are starting to, because I remember on Disney Plus they have, at least for us, they have that Disney Plus or that Disney Guardians of the Galaxy animated show, and the kids weren't really into it at that point. But now with Groot, I think they're trying to get a little bit more into it and the idea of all this world. So it is something where I go, okay, this was like maybe a good kind of gateway for my middle child, Logan, who's just 3 now and doesn't like that much of content, but this is like very cute and stuff. So easy to watch, enjoyable, and I would like more. I want more of the stuff in general from any brand. I really liked. I wasn't. Forky asked a question was fine. I was a huge fan of the Doug Days one that they did. I was a big fan. They recently did the Baymax one, which is similar to this, but they're 12 minutes. So, yeah, I think these were really cool.
Yeah, I'm with the complaint of like why separating them like that, but I was more surprised at how much I enjoyed them. Like, is it like, do I have to, is this a must see? I wouldn't say this is a must see, but it's
Where
just,
does it rank in your MCU?
Actually,
Brent-
we talked about that.
Brent's ranked it, and I think it's unfair, but he needs to rank it at that point. So,
I mean, actually, like it is unfair. This was like I'm splitting my Marvel rankings up. It's no longer a Marvel Studios ranking. It's going to be a live action ranking and animation studio arm, like the animation ranking.
yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to rank this with all of your stuff. But does it also make sense to rank What If, which is really like 9 different things, or Spider-Man freshman year, or X-Men? Like it just, to me, like I'm putting them off on their own thing. I'm leaving my rankings for the live action.
But see, if I had to rank this, I'd easily put this above Eternals. Because if anyone asks, hey, what do you want to watch, Eternals or I Am Groot? I mean, I Am Groot all day long. Even if it meant watching this the same
I might
length
actually
as
agree with
Eternals.
you on that in the sense I'll put it above Dark World.
Even if I had to watch this for 2.5 hours, like the length of the Eternals, I still might pick I Am Groot. I still pass Eternals. Calm down, people.
You know
Calm
what?
down.
You do you. It's your list. I don't think I can go up there with you. But
because James Gunn said it's just canon adjacent, maybe I don't have to rank it. It's kind of like MCU sisterhood.
all
it's
the
not
more
really-
reason to put it with the animations, because What If is like canon adjacent, and Spider-Man,
true.
Spider-Man freshman year, canon adjacent's a great way to describe that thing.
Yeah.
No, these were a lot of fun, and yeah, there's one or two maybe I liked more than the others, but Travis, you're right. They definitely should have put at least one of these. I probably would have done 2 of them to make it a little longer, but they should just release one of these and call it the Guardians 3 trailer. That'd piss people off so much. But just play that in the movies. That'd be great.
Go see Wakanda for your exclusive Guardians trailer. It's just
Exactly.
Groot, Magnus Opus or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was always, like, each one of them, there was something I really enjoyed. Like, I think if push came to shove, I would choose maybe the second one, the little guy, where basically...
Where he almost commits genocide.
That's what was it? You all that called it out, or someone I listened to called it out, saying almost committing basically genocide, and I was like, oh my god, is this how it's gonna end?
So funny though. Just covers it up with the rock, and then all their little heads poke out at the bottom at the end.
It was just all the little antics, basically a Gulliver's Travels kind of thing with Groot. But it was just like, and then I don't know, the Groot's pursuit with the dancing. The dancing thing got me on that episode. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. The First Steps one was probably my least favorite, but the others, like Magnum Opus, I love that one. That was
so
definitely my
heartwarming.
favorite. The stuff with Rocket was great, but then just like the way he's stealing from everybody, and when he uses Star-Lord's boots to weld it all together or whatever. So good.
I love it when Rocket comes in and said, it looks like a bomb went off. Oh, okay, a bomb did go off. And he hands him the picture. He doesn't know it's a picture. And he said, oh, what is this? It better be an apology.
I think I like them all for reasons you talked about. I would shout the one that I think probably higher up for me. I think it's probably Magnus Opus or this, because I like the Guardians of the Galaxy aspect of Magnus Opus, but I do like Groot Takes a Bath, because I was not expecting that. I liked the colors of it. I liked that bird getting really annoyed, and I was very shocked that he just stripped the bird down and took all its hair and everything.
Yes, that was awesome.
Aaron at that moment thought he had killed the bird, because when he came up at that when we were watching with the kids the first time, she just looked at me and I was like, no, just wait for it.
Yeah, and then it cuts to black and no, he did kill the bird. But no, and then I like all the different effects he was doing with like realizing he could grow his hair, but it was falling out and stuff like that. So no, that'd probably be my top one out of the bunch.
It's just good fun. I mean, my kids now have seen him twice, and they are hooked on it. They keep on saying, "Can we watch I Am Groot?" It's like, okay.
And of
It's
course,
easy at least,
I love all the people that I've saw a few comments of who asked for this. Why do we need this? I'm like, I don't know who asked for it, but I needed it. It was great.
Oh, and I think it's always good to do these like little content drops, stuff like that. I do, like I said, watching this though, and I don't know what it would be, especially nowadays with kids movies being very hit or miss as the box office. But I wish there was like a full-fledged like hour and 12 like Groot adventure with this type of animation. Like the way I've always said, like I want Marvel to even team up with Pixar. Like if they were to do, and I think one day it will happen. I don't know if it would be with Groot. I think Groot would actually be smart, but I think one day they will take a shot at doing some sort of animated movie like this full length. length, and maybe these are little tests. But that's the whole time I thought about, one, I enjoyed it, but two, is like, I wish there was an hour 12 adventure of just Groot, even if it was hour and a half, great. But I hope one day we get that point. And even if it is more kid oriented, that's fine with me. Like, that's what it could be for. And I hope that this is a sign that we could be getting close to that one day. But
Well, especially when you get to that final episode where Rocket is, you see Groot being very, it's that CG kind of cartoony look, but Rocket just looks like pretty much almost like he's in the movie. Like it's not, it doesn't look differently animated. It looks very much close to what he is in the movie.
I think even Groot looks pretty similar. When we watched these with my son, he was asking for more, so we turned on the opening to Volume 2 with the dancing scene. And I'm like, yeah, there's a little more polish there, and there is, but I mean, it's pretty comparable.
yeah. And then even the rest of the world, it really popped. But yeah, Groot looked like the way he, like you said, Chris, looked in the movie. So there wasn't anything that kind of took me out of it or stuff like that. So
Yeah, and it's just I think that's a really good idea you guys proposed, putting these in front of certain, like, not necessarily every Marvel movie, but have like kind of surprise. Like, again, they're like 2-3 minutes. Okay, we're already there for most of the time a little over 2 hours. So what's the extra 2 minutes at that point? They get it in there, and it's one of those things that Marvel can put it up for an Academy Award short.
that's true. Yeah.
That's a way that Disney can get another way in for the short category. I mean, they
one of these would make a great credit scene, post-credit scene, like at the end of Guardians or something. Like, they like, there's usually the one, like the more serious one that teases the future, and then the jokey one. Typically, that's the format for them. One of these would be great for the jokey one.
Yeah. If it was Guardians, we had like 8 end credit scenes in the last movie, right? So
5, yeah.
okay. I was close.
You were
Now,
close.
now, what did you all think? Because this didn't take me by surprise, but it took a lot of people out. I think when Gunn kind of said, like, "No, this is not a Groot that we saw in the first movie. This is technically his son."
I don't know why people are acting like this is news. People have talked. We've known this since Guardians 2 came out.
I forgot it because I remember when I heard this news, I was like, right, I totally forgot that this is his son and not actually Groot, and that made Guardians 1 kind of a bit more sadder. But yeah, I forgot about that, and I think I'm still fine. Like, I wouldn't have. I guess it sounds weird. I don't care either way. If it was a Groot reincarnated, great. If it's his son, great. It obviously does change the dynamic of it, but I don't think that doesn't take a U-turn in the plot. But I had actually completely forgot about that until he was talking about that this week.
Well, I think there's some sort of genetic memory component or something going on with Groot, because the magnum opus one, the picture he made, was the ending of Guardians, was when Groot died at the end of Guardians. Like, when he surrounds everybody, like it was basically a Baby Groot's interpretation of that. So, I mean, which I thought was awesome that they did that.
Which makes sense coming from, literally coming off of Groot himself. So, again, it is one of those things that it's just cute. I mean, if give it, I mean, again, you got 10 minutes. Below 10 minutes, you're making dinner, you're making breakfast, making lunch. Just put them on. It really, you're not going to feel like you wasted time. At least I won't think you're wasted time. If you think you're wasted time, fine. Sorry, don't believe me.
Someone's gonna watch it. Someone's gonna watch it, tweet back at you like, it was such a waste of time, Chris.
No,
have a heart if you think you wasted time.
No, it'll be the same person that gives us a 1-star review for listening to 10 ads, claiming they listened to 10 ads in one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we do know that from SDCC that there is technically we'll call it a season 2, but there will be another series of shorts that are coming from this. Now, do they need to be longer? Do they need to be more of these? Do they supercut them like we all want?
I think it'll be, because if they announced it, I feel like they're already working on it. I feel like it'll be a carbon copy of this, of just maybe 5, maybe 6 or something like that. Maybe one more episode or one last episode, same runtime, and probably, I don't know about the release format, if it'll be in multiple episodes or stuff like that, but I feel like it'll be very similar if they've already announced it, because I think they're working on it.
It'll be interesting, especially where we leave them off and where we put this. Is it going to be I Am Groot? Obviously, we've gone through kind of the adolescence, so we're going to go through teenage Groot years and not necessarily tackle Volume 3 yet, or are we going to do post-Volume 3?
I think you're right with that. I think it's because this goes back to volume in between 1 and 2, right? So I think they'll do the same there as in between 2 and 3, or 2 and Infinity War, something like that.
I don't know. I don't know if a bunch of shorts of teenage Groot would be as funny or delightful.
True.
So part of me almost hopes for more of baby Groot and his antics.
I'll take it. But
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that.
Anything else before we take our first ad break and head into the news?
No, I enjoyed it. I will welcome more of this. Excited for the other specials because we got the Halloween special and then we got the Christmas special this year, right? So
Yep.
other shorter, smaller fare on Marvel Disney Plus. Excited for both of them.
We're gonna has officially said that. Well, Black Panther may be the end, but we're the epilogue with the Halloween special.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how Feige views it too.
He'll get that last word in where he can. So, but all right. Well, we will take our first ad break. So, listeners, as you know, these ads help keep the lights on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. We don't get to choose what ads come on, and we can be a bit loud. So, give you that 3 count before they come on. 3, 2, 1. We'll be right back. And we are back. So, well, light on news this week, but it is one of those situations where this kind of took on a life of its own when well, we almost had 2 news stories, and then Rosario Dawson listens to fans at that point and tries to gets a little too overexcited.
I think there's some walking back there on her part from I think Disney maybe said, "Hey, you need to squash this."
I'm listening to the fans. But anyways, in all seriousness, we had a kind of a surprise as I pull up my notes on this one. Giancarlo Esposito, and that is how you pronounce it, Esposito.
I always screw it up.
Most people do.
I knew him as Esposito the whole time as Breaking Bad, so I still say that. Giancarlo Esposito.
And again, the only reason I know that is I'm a big fan of Mark Maron's WTF podcast, and Mark literally asked him at one point, now, how do you say it? And he says, I know most people say it like this, but it's Esposito. So
there you go.
But anyways, he goes on stage at a Comic-Con at the TGH Superhero Car Show and Comic-Con, which is that's a heck of a combination, car show and Comic-Con. But hey, you know, you do you, San Antonio. And in a video that was posted from TikTok user Countdown City Geeks, he goes on.
Say the full quote, please. Say the full quote.
I am. Yep, I am. So I have not worked with Marvel yet. I have been in a room with them and talked with them. And to answer your question, I think they do is on the lines of the mythological journey that Joe Campbell talked about, who happened to be a friend of George Lucas, that George Lucas put into his stories. They do the same thing. So he says, there's been talk of Magneto. There's been talk of Dr. Freeze. There's been Yes, let me read that back so that, yes, I did not misquote this. This is exactly what he said. There's been talk of Magneto. There's been talk of Dr. Freeze. There has been talk of, who else are they talking about there? Oh, Doom. And there's Professor X. Pick
God,
one.
Somebody needs to do a Dr. Freeze. Like in one of those anthology books or whatever where you got 10 different stories. I want a 3-page story about Dr. Freeze.
I'm going to go for someone that's a little bit different. I'm going to go and put it out there in the universe, Professor X. So he is officially confirming that he has met with Marvel Studios, with Kevin Feige. There's been lots of talk about things, but he looks like he's aiming for what I have said on this show a number of times, that instead of being the bad guy, but even though Professor X can be a jerk many times, including in the Krakoa era, he's definitely doing some questionable methods there. But yeah, Professor X. So what do you all think of this, of his admission that he has met?
The only thing I want to say about the Dr. Freeze thing, because it reminded me of 2 things. There's that clip that goes around where it's that woman newscaster, and she's like, what's your favorite superhero?
Oh, yeah.
Mine's Superman. As the quote goes, with great power comes great responsibility. And she's clearly, it's someone that probably screwed it up. But my other thing is, watch the video, the TikTok, everybody, and you can hear the crowd have a combination of confusion, but also worry, because they're like, oh, yeah. Like, because I think they're questioning of, did he screw it up, or do I not know a character in Marvel named Dr. Freeze? And it's just oh, yeah. And then they say next, like, oh, yeah, they're all cheering. So that was, I got a good giggle when he said Dr. Freeze.
And I'll tell you what, your quote tweet of the preview tweet tonight added, why the hell is he writing Dr. Freeze? And then it took me, he was like, oh, yeah, he's trolling Giancarlo. So
he said it so calmly, too, Dr. Freeze. But clearly just a little screw up. But He's had meetings, which he's said this before, and it's very interesting. And I think it's also interesting to say you want to play Professor X, because if the role doesn't go to you, then I go, well, what happened in those meetings? Because it's weird to throw that out as a state claim. I'm with you. I want this. He is a guy. He's much like Christoph Waltz. He's much like Mads Mikkelsen, where he has got typecast as the villain. You had obviously Breaking Bad. You got that game Far Cry 6. You have The Boys. You have the Mandalorian.
He's been in a million things.
Yeah, and he plays somewhat of a similar character. I think there are shades of differences, but still, I think it would be great. And my pitch is, what you should do is make sure you get someone that's really, really good to play like Magneto. Do find an actor that relatively, not saying Tom Hanks, but someone like a Tom Hanks that is really known as like a good guy in Hollywood or a good guy role. So I really do hope it happens. It's interesting because I talked about this last week on Trust Told You, where there was a report where someone said he had met for multiple roles. And then I was like, I don't know, that feels odd that Marvel would just bring him in and be like, oh, let's talk about a bunch of roles. And now he's saying it. Now I wonder if he's the guy that put out that report to a scooper, like, oh, hey, I'm talking to multiple roles, But I don't know. It's strange because it also could be him campaigning, and most of the time, things have changed a little bit, but most of the time there's like an unwritten rule in Hollywood where if you campaigned, they would usually not touch you because they kind of thought it was putting them into a corner, and they didn't want other people doing that, making the studio have a bad name, right? So I want it to happen. Is it happening? I'm still a 50-50 on it. Maybe like a 51-49 of it is, but it's still strange that he would be talking about it so much before it actually happening. But it's also probably years away, so maybe that's why.
I like the idea of it. I mean, I pretty much like him in everything. I can't think of a project that I've seen him as a part of where I thought, oh, he was bad in that. No, he's great. Yeah, if he wants to play Professor X, I'm cool with that. I know a lot of people want him to be Magneto. Okay, that's fine too, but I think the Professor X idea is real interesting. And yeah, Professor X, as Kitty Pryde said, Professor X is a jerk. So it's like he can still kind of do some of the more, let's call it shady things, while still, technically being one of the good guys for a change from him. I like it. I hope they find a place for him in Marvel somewhere. If Professor X doesn't work out for whatever reason, find a place for him in the MCU somewhere.
And again, he's a fan. He loves this stuff. You can hear it even if he thinks there's a character in the Marvel Universe named Dr. Freeze at that point.
Or he knows something that we don't know.
Yeah. We're going to create your own character. Answer to Dr. Freeze.
Dr. Freeze at that point. He's going to channel those Arnold vibes, like, cool off.
Best script I've ever read.
Yes, exactly. What do y'all think? And I've heard some things, and our buddy Ray over at Flycast has said this. The idea of, let's say that it's not Professor X, he's Magneto at that point. The idea being put forth that Magneto not being a Holocaust survivor is something that will be very difficult because of what that character represents to the Jewish community, in the sense of not necessarily that being a villain, but something that is, representative of someone who, survives the camp, survives stuff, and that defines who they are, because they don't want men like that rising to power again. This is why he's doing it. He's looked at as a villain now in the Krakoa era. Even before that, he's been looked at anti-hero and things like that. So his journey's changed a lot. Now we've seen also in the previews for X-Men 97, he's leading the X-Men. So again, a character that's gone on a lot of journey from villain to anti-hero to now possibly a hero at that point. What do you all think in the sense of, can Magneto be someone that is not, a Holocaust survivor because of the age question?
If they're going to do Magneto, he needs to be Jewish. And so I don't know if Esposito is Jewish at all, that would be my biggest hang up about him doing the part, is if you're going to have Magneto, I think he does probably need to be Jewish. I think it's easy enough to make him part of a Holocaust survivor. Secondary mutation, those are a big thing. Just make it so his mutation slows his aging down, and that problem is solved for me. I don't have an issue with the age.
Yeah, I'm of two minds, because many years ago on Geek First, and I still maybe feel this way, that I thought MCU was going to make both Xavier and Magneto black characters, and I just thought because of who they're based on, right, and it also fits a lot with the times. And this was me thinking that even before, like, okay, let's say there is no multiverse, there is no slower aging. If you are just going to take these characters where a Charles Xavier was born in this era, Magneto, you can't do the Holocaust. You can't. If you're doing no secondary mutation, if you're doing no time travel mumbo jumbo, you can't do it. Or there'd be a very old individual there that we probably couldn't believe would be in this battle. So I see both sides. I think it's tough because you could say, hey, we're casting this character as a black man, because obviously even today, unfortunately, there's still so many things that you can draw comparisons to that, right? But at the same time, then you go against another community. And I think that before Black Panther, I was much more on that bandwagon, but I think Killmonger kind of acted as that character for that community, to speak in a similar way, where it's someone that had been through bad experiences, fighting for their community and doing it in the wrong way, right? Instead of finding a middle ground trying to change things, he just wanted to get all guns and blow up people, right? He wanted to just take everything that Wakanda had and go to war. So once Black Panther happened, then I went, okay, they've kind of done a similar aspect with that character, and I also don't want them to not belittle Killmonger's character, but Magneto will be a character that I would assume go on for years, so I wouldn't want to just be like, oh yeah, Killmonger did that thing, but now we've kind of taken that storyline and given it to another character that's going to be around for a long time. I think, no, leave that to Killmonger, make it special. And yeah, that's the thing. I think the community does care, but at the same time, you go back and forth where you look at Moon Knight, where that was a thing. And I learned a lot about like Judaism and stuff like that, where even if you have family lineage with Oscar Isaac, technically, if you're not practicing, or technically, depending on what side of your family, you're still not technically considered Jewish, and that's where lots of people have that hang up. Even they had the hang up with the Moon Knight episode of just having that one little thing in there. So it's not like Marvel still they still put it in there, but it was still to a small amount. And yeah, that's just the question too. Do they feel, hey, the X-Men films, the original ones at Fox, covered it so much and did that we're safe to do a different adaptation? I don't know. So I think it's tricky. I think it would be best if they stuck with someone Jewish, but I still don't think it's 100% going to happen. But I think they're in a tough scenario. But I think Brent has the right scenario as just do the older age thing if you are, because I'm still not sure how I feel. Like people always say, oh, Secret Wars, that's what's going to happen, is all these mutants are going to jump from one universe into ours. I still don't know how I feel about that. I still wish it's something organic in our world. So I would like the older age factor. And if that, like, it's the second mutation, if that's what I had to choose.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one, Travis, in the sense of being of two minds, because again, it's one of these things. Okay, we're updating it because okay, we don't want to take the low hanging fruit of a second mutation and stuff like that, so we'll make it a sense of what it was in the time, an era of civil rights, civil rights era leaders on both sides of it at that point. But in the other sense, it's like, well, it kind of, not saying you can't do that, but there was such, again, he's a survivor of Auschwitz. Again, he saw his parents, his mother killed at that point. It's such a, not saying you can't have the same thing from his civil rights. I mean, again, there's just so many different things you can't do it. So I think if they are going to change it at that point, we've seen them make changes in characters. This would be probably one of the most drastic changes from comics to for a leading character being that Magneto, and Professor X being that Magneto in that sense. But I'm with an idea that he's such a prolific actor. I don't, I'm sure he enjoys playing the villain, but I think that at this point that's why he's saying Doom's great, Magneto's great. Give me a role where I can be, quote unquote, looked at as the hero, and it could be very interesting. David just posted something in the chat. Magneto can be very militant and polarizing, and if not done right, it could be a slippery slope with Magneto, akin to MLK Xavier, Malcolm X Magneto. It could even divisiveness in today's viewing. But here's the thing: you look at, there are two different. This is the history teacher coming out. There's two different Malcolm X's you look at. You look at pre Journey to Mecca, post Journey to Mecca. At that point, Malcolm X was still militant, but took on a different view after his trip to Mecca at that point. So something to kind of think about of where we're at. So but you do bring out a point. You don't want to put those two different personalizations and make it look like you're profiting off of history and trying just to ruin it at that point. All in the game saying they'll have to retcon Magneto's mutation. Yep, we talked about that. And
it is retcon, but it's like it's an add-on because like Miss Marvel just changed her power set, right? Like they can do. It's like an else. This is an all comics or Elseworld tales in a sense,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
So-
So technically, it's if you want to be pedantic, it's not actually a retcon because it's a different universe. But
Yeah.
we know what he means.
Yeah.
We know what he means. They will.
Yeah.
It'll need to be a change to the character from the source material.
Summers in the chat. Do you think Esposito is too old to be Reed Richards?
I think if the rumors are true that they're doing the 20s, 30s, then yes. I would love it if he was what I think Krasinski is, a Reed in a different universe. And that's also the other reason why I still didn't buy him as Doom, because I've said this before where, okay, maybe Doom isn't a Fantastic Four like villain. He's an MCU villain, but I still would like them to have that backstory of even like knowing each other in school and stuff like that. So if you do that, I feel like if you cast him as Doom, you have to now go get a 40 to 50-year-old Reed as well. And I don't think they're doing that. I think they're trying to find a younger team so this can be someone like the Avengers that goes on for multi-generations. I would like to see Giancarlo stretch though. That would be some fun animation, everything like that. But I think he actually would be. I feel like if they were doing his age group, I actually think he'd be great because same as Professor X, Reed has sides where he's very arrogant and can be shady and not always on the right side. And Giancarlo could do that really well. So I think it's a really good casting, but I just don't think he's in the range they're looking for.
It would be interesting in the sense of if he's not necessarily Professor X, Magneto, or any of those things, but he's tied to X-Men. Who else could he be?
Please don't do him as Trask, because then I feel like he's going to get really generic as far as like his other like performances. I'm trying to think of like other.
Not Trask.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other
Gyrick,
good
maybe?
guys. It's not bad. I'm trying to think of like other good people in X-Men that he could play.
He's going to be Strife,
Oh.
Cable's clone.
How about Sinister?
That wouldn't be bad. Again,
Interesting.
it's a villain, but that wouldn't be bad. I really hope we do
He's
that.
got the charisma for it.
What about-
Now that
what
we got
about,
now we got sassy Sinister now. So
Don't say it, Brent. He's going to take it from me. I know what he's going to say.
Forge.
Okay, thank God. No, he didn't say that.
that would be interesting in the sense, but that's another one where you're
yeah,
changing
no, I
Native
don't wanna
Native
do that.
American.
I don't want to do that. I don't
Yeah.
scratch that. I don't like that idea at all.
Now, I don't know how I'd feel about this because I don't know if I need him caked up in makeup and CGI. But for the mentality he could bring as someone being friendly when you watch Breaking Bad and he's the friendly Gus Fring would be Beast. I think he would be a great that attitude. But I don't know if he would be down for that because then it would you wouldn't be seeing Giancarlo at all. But for what Beast has a very warming, friendly connection with people. I really people don't talk about Kelsey Grammer was legitimately a perfect Beast. He was.
Yeah.
I think that's one. I'm so ashamed that when they did the reboot, all we got was like 5 more seconds of him in Days of Future Past. He's somebody that does not get talked about now enough as far as even though that movie's not good, he knocked the performance of Hank McCoy out of the park. So that would be like another like good guy X-Men I could see in that.
What
realm.
about I had to find. I was like, I can see him, but I can't remember his name. G.W. Bridge.
Oh, we gotta.
Not bad.
I know it's a little obscure there.
Yeah, I was about to say, but yeah, not bad. So, but I think regardless if it's not X-Men, I think they're having talks because they want to use him, and I think they want to see kind of where his thoughts are at. So, I don't know how many times have we heard of meetings that have yet not come to fruition, like of someone of his caliber not happen, like nothing happened yet.
One pops to mind, but
Who is it? Who are you thinking?
it's The Rock, but he was just using that for leverage. But remember, he
Yeah.
did. He tweeted
Yeah,
out that
he
he
did.
met with Feige, and he can't wait to work with him. I think he just always did that because Warner Brothers was like, he was doing it as like a shit or get off the pot. Like either gonna make me Black Adam.
Well,
I'm
he
gonna go
obviously
somewhere
thought Warner Brothers is more likely to actually release his movies. So.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have took that second meeting with Feige. Maybe I'm just saying, Dwayne. Maybe it should.
Sorry, Heinz.
You could have been
Next
a great
time,
Luke
baby.
Cage.
Next
Yeah,
time.
He could have been a great Luke Cage. That's all I'm saying. So.
But I mean, outside of that one, has anyone? I know we've had a few others, but I'm talking about of his caliber of actor had a meeting and nothing come of it. That we know
but
about.
we don't hear about those too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even when Patrick Stewart said I had a meeting and it went good, but I don't think I'm doing anything more. Clearly that was a lie and it ended up happening.
Yeah.
So I feel like any ones that do have been talked about, we do hear something about. It's just it's strange that he's just so vocal about it. That's why you feel like someone would be like, "Hey, pipe down a little."
and especially, we know he's going to be in season 3 of Mando,
Yes.
So the question of how much longer is he going to be with Mando at that point? So that's got to be discussed. And again, not saying they can't do 2 projects at once, but I think he will be used regardless of where he's used. We know the caliber he's going to bring to the screen. It'll be well worth it.
I got it.
Okay.
Blue Marvel.
Okay. Wouldn't be bad.
Older,
Okay, yeah.
black. It fits.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they want to do the Ultimates team at that point, you got,
I mean, he's no Dr.
Rambo.
Freeze, but it could be pretty cool.
Well, you got Blue, so it's kind of.
That's what he was talking about. He thought it was Dr. Freeze.
All in the game saying, I'm sorry, but please keep The Rock away from the MCU. Well, the hierarchy of the MCU might change if it comes into it all in the game. I mean,
Do you think I guess it's a dumb question, but do you think if Black Adam underperformed or did bad that he would still come over to the MCU? Like Feige would look at it and be like, oh, we could use him? Or do you feel like that's like kind of showed that maybe rock and superhero genre is not the mix people are looking for?
That's a tough one to say because it's one of those things where you got to look at it. Okay, you almost have to pull audiences to understand like what are you liking, what are you not liking about the movie. They may still like The Rock, but they may not like what the movie was written in the sense of that. Like they say, oh, he was great, but the rest of the thing, it was just a mess. You know, we've heard that from lots of different actors that are in terrible movies, but our actress saves the movie. So
True.
I think he's a big enough star still because again, Rock still has had some stinkers in his time, even recently, where it's just it's okay. I mean, Red Notice, it's
Oh my god, that movie was I turned that on thinking I am gonna love this movie so much. The Rock and Ryan Reynolds together, I think it's such a great pairing. Gal Gadot in there, and I watched it. I'm just like, what the hell was that? It was so disappointed.
Yeah, not great.
Well, we will see exactly what the future holds for Giancarlo, but we will be waiting, and I know if it does happen, we'll all be pretty excited to see what happens. But we move on. We move on to some more Cox teases, right, Brent?
That's right. All the Cox teases.
Charlie Cox, yes, we do. As I changed the branding in the background at that point to reflect it at this point. Yes, we saw in the She-Hulk SDCC ending trailer that we got partial look at Daredevil coming to She-Hulk at that point. Well, this past weekend we got a really good look at the helmet and a little bit more of the suit. So this was coming from the direct at that point, screen grabbing it at that point, and as I scroll down, they have a more enhanced look where they get some shine onto that. So I know when I first sent it to Brent in the morning, because I know he wasn't looking in the GUA chat, he says, "How is this real? Prove to me your sources."
Like I was at work.
You were.
My jaw dropped. Like I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me? And like if you look at it, it looks like somebody photoshopped it, right? Like they colored it in, they made it yellow, and that's genuinely what I thought it was at first. And then you're like, oh no, it's real. And I'm just like, it's beautiful, yes, eventually I want the red suit, yes, absolutely. But for something like this, an alternate costume, when we know Marvel likes to do all kinds of different costumes in different projects, I love that we're getting this. This is incredible.
Especially when it's basically they've taken the Netflix suit and just put the yellow accents on it. So.
Make it even a grayer area of whether or not the Netflix costume is going to be the Netflix era is canon. But it doesn't matter. I am so very excited to see this. I'm excited for the show, but oh my gosh, that whenever Daredevil appears, that's going to be a glorious day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it looks great. It looks great for what it is. As I've said before, I'm not the biggest yellow fan, but I really liked the Netflix aesthetic as far as the suit goes. I liked the home built version of it, and as I said on my podcast, that I feel that this is not going to be the first and only suit we ever see Matt rock. There's going to be many versions, many differences. So I'm happy. It works, and I think it's good for them to put their own little stamp on it as well. So I think it looks good, and I'm ready for him to make some jokes and stuff like that. I'm ready for him to be a little lighter as it came out today. That as when me and Chris talked about this, you want more yellow. Well, that's not good, Hansy. That's not good. I don't want more mustard on the Daredevil one. But a lot of people like the yellow costume.
Always with the food with you. Always with the food.
Exactly. And again, I had 3 seasons. Well, maybe like 1.5 of the actual suit on him, but still I got that in a show. And it's the same way we were talking about off air that the head writer came out today and said that expect to see like a lighter side of Matt. Me and Chris had talked about this years ago when we I guess it has now 2 years ago, man. It's over 2 years since we started. If you get him in the Disney Plus, don't expect the Netflix Daredevil, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's the same way when we talk about all the time when it is a writer, an artist taking over for someone else, it's going to be different. So if you are narrow-minded and you think, hey, I just want exactly what Netflix gave me, don't even tune in to Daredevil or Born Again or this, because you're not going to get that. You're going to get something a little bit different, and I don't mind that because, again, no one's especially taking those shows away from me because they're on Disney Plus now. I can go back at any point and watch all 3 seasons of the gritty Daredevil. So now, how bad? If it gets the Ralph Boner bad, we'll have another conversation in 2 months, and maybe I'll be like, hey,
well,
what
it's
did they do to
already
my
better
boy?
than that because he's playing Daredevil. Like,
I hope. What if he's just an actor? And he's like, oh, this is the real Daredevil, and it's someone else. It's Ben Affleck again. We're like, what happened? You know, I never thought.
I mean, that sounds hilarious. So, you know what?
Insert angry Groot.
It sounds hilarious, but even you would be mad. If
they Ralph Boner him, I want to come on Geekverse when you talk about it.
if there was an episode that introduced Ben Affleck as the true MCU Daredevil, there would be a part of you went, oh, what happened there? You would be slightly sided.
The troll in me would find that hilarious. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it. And for the record, I like the Ben Affleck movie.
I do too.
I like that movie. I hope he comes in, and I hope he does something for Daredevil again. I genuinely, like in Secret Wars or whatever, I would love a Ben Affleck cameo. I think that sounds
I hope
great.
so. Yeah.
I like that movie. I like his
Summer.
costume. I'm in it.
Summer's comment.
Yep.
Hey, my name is Penis Murdoch. No, I don't want any of that happening. I don't. Oh no.
I could see again, but remember where this is taking place. This is San Francisco. The Mark Waid run, Daredevil at post Shadowlands goes to California. It's a very lighter touch, and some people initially really, and some people still really don't like that run, but they're missing the point of that run. This is this is gonna be different, but in that run, it's like Matt's gone through some serious stuff in the last couple of years. This is a post-traumatic stress Matt that's trying to deal with stuff, and he's not dealing with it in the best way. This is a Matt Murdock. I mean, again, he was kind of cutesy and funny in the sense of No Way Home when he was kind of, having a little fun there and, grabbing the brick and saying, I'm a really good lawyer at that point. He's jokey. He's a little more jokey at that point. I think we can do that at that point. Where especially, even the showrunner said, one, they were really surprised that they could get when they said Daredevil on the table, and they said yes. They kept on thinking, oh, they're just going to take it away when we tell them what we're going to do. But they said the kind of the point of the show and the cameos that have not been announced, that are still secret, that are going to happen in the show, they said we're taking some of these characters that are thought of be hard drama, action, serious, and putting in it our show, making a little lighter touch, like Wong, for example. I think Wong's even going to be a little bit lighter too, from what we've seen. So if it fits with it at that point, great. Again, this is an early Daredevil. If he's in the yellow costume, we know he is not, doing it. The question is, what is he doing in California?
As Bub says, Charlie Cox is oddly similar, close enough to Ralph Boner, and he is
Love
true.
it.
And at the end of the day, like what you said, when there's like still those people that say I don't like the run, that's okay. If you watch this and you go, hey, this is not exactly the Charlie Cox Daredevil for me, I do prefer the other one. Yeah, you can be disappointed, and I absolutely get that, right? You can be disappointed with all media, but it's like comic books where, okay, you have those shows. If you wanted more of it, it might not happen. But again, you had over, what were they all? Were they all 13 episodes, right?
Three 13-episode seasons and 8 episodes of Defenders.
So you got 39 episodes of dark and gritty Daredevil. You got multiple hours. Some people aren't even seeing a goddamn Batgirl movie that was filmed. You got, and maybe you got hours upon hours, So it's there. Don't worry. But it's going to happen. You're going to see that, they ruined Daredevil, this and that and everything.
Guess what? It's a cameo. We don't know if it's going to be 1 episode, 2 episodes, or anything more than that. It just accept the idea of where it places in this show, what the purpose of this show is about.
I don't think it's 1 episode, or if it is, I think it's a substantial amount. Between the way they're talking about it, the fact that they put him in the marketing, I don't get the feeling that it's only, some brief little 5-minute scene and that's it. Maybe they're, opposing counsel over a single case or something like that. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a little more than that. That said, it's She-Hulk show. It needs to remain She-Hulk show. So, this is me saying this, but yes, I am super pumped to see Daredevil, but it still needs to remain her show. When do you think? What's your prediction on when we might actually see it? Or maybe we should save that for later, actually. We'll
save it for later, yeah.
We're gonna save that for later. But this is gonna be the first, probably substantial MCU appearance, right? Don't get me wrong. I love that he was in Spider-Man No Way Home, but, it was also 30 seconds.
Yeah, so... Well, all right. Well, we look forward to next week where we get She-Hulk premiering, and we'll see when Mr. Murdock and Daredevil will be appearing. So we'll take our last ad break before we get into listener feedback, Fact or Fiction to Comic Book Club. So listeners, again, these ads help keep the lights on in the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. We don't get to choose what ads come on. They can be a bit loud, so give you that 3 count before they come on. 3, 2, 1. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. So we had, Brent, as always, he put out the Spidey signal, and questions come in, even sometimes before he put it out. I think he even put it out twice this week.
Yeah, and this first one from Fanboy Clay came in before we put it out, but you know what? That's always encouraged.
Oh,
Just
yes.
assume it's always out there. Questions, I just got to save them in a note. No big deal. So, first up, Fanboy Clay. With the success of Prey, would Feige ever use the Predator IP to either make a what if, insert Marvel character here versus Predator, or make a non-MCU film of insert Marvel character here, and the surprise of the movie is that it's that Marvel character versus Predator? So basically, do you think Feige's ever going to use Predator to cross over with Marvel?
I've read the first issue of Predator that's finally come out this week. I've read the Alien stuff, and they're actually... Predator, I'm still kind of waiting on. I like what the idea of the story they're doing. The Aliens have actually been very surprisingly good, and they have not shied away from the violence and anything like that. So that's at least good. Right now, I think that's a bridge too far. Remember, they're right now just dabbling into the TV MA format and a little more harder. I'm not saying it's impossible, but right now I'd say if I were to give it a percentage, I'd say less than 5% chance right now.
Whoa, less than 5.
I think right now I don't see Marvel doing it, but I'm not saying it's possible. I'm just saying it's pretty far off if they are even thinking about that.
I would agree with that, with the pretty far off. It's the same reason why I still hope and think one day we will get something animated with Star Wars and Marvel. I think that is why they haven't done that. And I think Clay's second pitch of the movie Secret Villain, no, I don't think that would ever happen. I don't think it would. I think it would be something small like a what if. And I think that's where you do it, where some character lands on a planet, they don't know what's going on, and the big reveal is it's a Predator. I think that's what you do it in a what if episode. I don't think anything live action, because I think same thing with Star Wars. They wouldn't want to cross those stream live action because it might get murky and people. That's when you really get the confusion. You think, oh, what do I have to watch? No, do something as a one-off animated, and I think it should.
To watch the full canon of Star Wars, you have to watch The Incredible Hulk.
Exactly. I didn't know, where's Betty popping up? But no, I think that what if is the way, and I think they should test it in a comic book first as well. But I really hope it happens because I think that would be very fun. Of just insert character A versus the Predator, Wolverine versus the Predator, there's tons of fun. Iron Man versus Predator, there's tons of fun combos. Guardians.
They did do, I think they're even doing it this week with when Aliens was first coming out in the comic. They did a lot of homage covers with characters on their covers, and they're doing that with the Predator. So, and there is a history with both these characters crossing over with DC Comics a number of times at that point. So I agree with you. I think the comics is where it can start and they can have some fun. I think they're just trying to reestablish, hey, wait a minute, Marvel's now in charge of this stuff. It's actually very good.
Yeah. And
I really enjoy those DC versus Aliens and DC versus Predators and stuff like that. I'm not opposed to it, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon.
And also, too, something to think about long term. I think this could be more likely to happen if Feige's not in charge of the MCU. Whether he is somewhere else or whether he's in a different division at Disney, someone might have a different approach of like, yeah, that's all cool, the continuity and stuff, but I want to make some big money or do something really cool, and we can do this and just throw it together and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it will happen one day. In our lifetime, I don't know. Because I always said that eventually if the comic book genre ever starts to peter out and it gets slower and starts to die, that's when we're going to get these cool crossovers. That's when we're going to get Predator and Aliens. That's when we're going to get Star Wars. That's when we're going to get DC as well. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I don't know if it'll happen in our lifetime, but I think our kids will see a Marvel DC thing.
You know, Marvel once said that if they ever cross over the 616 with the Ultimate line, it means they ran out of ideas. That's what I just thought of when you said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could see that. And, you know, everyone always goes, oh, that can never happen. But, like, until the Sony Disney deal happened, everyone said the same thing. I know it's different because of Spider-Man, but that was an unprecedented thing at that time when it was announced. Wow, these two studios working together, sharing a character, sharing a universe. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility one day for Disney and Warner Brothers to talk like, hey, what can we figure out contract-wise? And the good thing with Predator, good thing with Star Wars, good thing with Aliens, they own those. So they don't even got to do that part. They don't even got to have a meeting. They just go, well, we're going to use this. And so comics for sure, animation, I think so. Live action, that I don't know if I'll ever say never, but live action is where I go, that's probably where the line draws for Aliens and Predators. So,
all right, what you got next?
All right, next up from Heinz, what are the chances in a percentage that we see Hawkeye in an episode of Daredevil season 4 or 1 or whatever we're calling it? So basically, Daredevil Born Again. What are the chances we're going to see Hawkeye?
Like
Kate Bishop?
We're thinking Kate
Clint?
Bishop, right?
You know, he doesn't say. I assumed Clint.
I did
but that is me technically assuming.
I assumed Kate. Kate, for percentage, 15, depends how busy she is on like a street level kind of place. And plus, we don't even know, we think, like, because you said that he's in San Francisco now, and then he was in New York with Peter, right? We don't know, like, doesn't mean Daredevil's for sure said New York. We think that, but same thing as Moon Knight, we thought that, and then all of a sudden, now it's in London. I think it will be, but it all depends where Kate is. So I'd say actually 0 for Clint, 15 for Kate.
I don't think Kate's very likely at all. With Clint, I could see it through Echo. Like if there's an Echo appearance in it, like I could see a connection there between Ronan basically and those characters. I mean, Daredevil, Echo, Hawkeye, like there were ties in the comics with them too as well through Echo effectively and through the Ronan character. Not exactly like they did in the shows, but I think if anything, that's the best chance of it.
Yeah, I'll even go less. I don't see Clint, and because like you said, if you said Echo, I might have a different opinion on that. But you're saying Daredevil, Hines. I just don't see either. I'm gonna go 0 on both, just because it just right now in my mind, not just the idea of Born Again and stuff like that. It's like, how do you put them in right now and not feel like it's a cash grab in the sense of like putting them in for familiarity when you really don't need them to be in there as a familiarity, you know?
I'm down for the cash grab though. I'm down for.
I mean, who is it? I mean, I'll fanboy out on it, but I'm just saying, for story wise, yeah, you can always create a story. I'm just not seeing the story point.
That's what I was saying this week on Trash Told You, cheap plug, that what I'd want for if it's 18 episodes, if we had that quote unquote filler episodes for them, just to be like fun crossover episodes of him bumping into different MCU heroes, whether they are already established or people like Heroes for Hire bringing them in. I think that would be great. I'd love if it was just like, a one-off where Kate and Matt are looking for the same target and it's their adventure of whether they're working together, working against each other. Like, I'd absolutely be fine with that. We always talk about the Daredevil Spider-Man crossover of, Spider-Man was going to court. He did need someone in the animated show, but still, it felt like just a great 2-part series. Didn't have much to do with the rest of the season.
Don't tease Brent like that. He gets a little ornery when you tease him like that.
Yeah,
I sent him something and he got a little upset about it.
So I would be down for if there was 18 episodes and 4 of them were just, hey, this is a fun crossover with a character and one of them is Kate. Great. Like almost like the old like guest starring, like Batman and the Green Hornet, like they're just having an adventure together. Like I would love it if Kate and them, and that'd be an interesting dynamic, those two. It's hard to see on paper, but I would love that. Clint, I just think he will be in active retirement till another big crossover or till a Hawkeye show. That's why I'm at 0% with him.
Like you said, it would definitely be a difference in personality because of who Kate is and who Matt Murdock is at that point.
Yes.
That would be fun. I'm not going to deny that wouldn't be fun on screen to see that dynamic, or if rumors are true at that point, put Kate, Jessica Jones, and Matt, and then my God, I think they both might kill Kate.
Oh, I know. Jessica Jones with Kate that'd be something. I was just
That'd be
seeing.
fun to see.
Yeah.
I was just seeing how old Cox is 39 and Florence. Okay. I was just seeing because, we did have back in the day Daredevil and Black Widow as an item. And I thought, what if it was actually Yelena this time as that? But no, I don't think that's happening based on their age differences.
Matt gets around. Matt
he's-
does-
Yeah, there's just almost a
he's-
20-year gap, and that's why I don't think
that's not stopped him before.
He's a
it
man
will
whore.
stop Disney Plus, though. It'll stop Disney Plus, though. That's what I think.
Now
Like,
with
"No."
TVMA.
Yeah. We'll show you those zombies, but we're not going to show you this.
I'm realizing we got a couple more of these questions are Daredevil questions. I
Okay.
didn't even realize that. From Freakbase, will Daredevil be in any upcoming Avengers movie?
Oh, I want
Yes. Yes. That will be.
it.
With the commitment of 18 episodes at that point, I almost think that they're
fair.
really saying we're really committed to this character.
I'm a 50-50. I would say if you're talking the endgame level crossover with everybody, sure. But I'm saying if there is a team-based movie, I don't think he'd be on the team. And even then, I think it would be bold of them if they do that next endgame level movie and they have so many characters that not every character is there, that some characters are still busy doing their other things. But I will say... I'll say yes, but I think it's in the Infinity War Endgame level type, where it's an ensemble of characters and he's also there. Not, hey, this is the new Seven and he is a part of it. I don't think that.
So you're saying Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, he might have an appearance in one of those.
Yeah, I would say Secret Wars. If you had to test me and say Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty, because I hope my pitch is I just want Kang Dynasty to be with our new core Avengers. Whoever the world looks at, R8, 7, whatever the team is, I would like one movie with just that team. And I hope that's King Dynasty. And then Secret Wars, we can get nuts.
Maybe he'll be in the a new Avengers movie
Yep.
post Secret Wars.
Yep, that could be.
I think it's inevitable that he will appear in the Avengers. How big a part? Honestly, I wouldn't anticipate huge. But like Chris said, they're 18 episodes. They're committed to Daredevil, and even if some of these 18 episodes weren't entirely him, like maybe he doesn't even appear in one or two because they're about a side thing. Like that's still a commitment to the Daredevil corner of the Marvel universe. All right, from DC Outlaw. Speaking of 18 episodes, DC Outlaw says, do you think 18 episodes will be considered like a trilogy of 6-hour movies, the first season or several more, or an 18-episode maxi series, and it will only appear in team-ups and cameos after it's over?
See, and I'll go first because that just goes to my pitch where I'd love it where you look at issues do this where sometimes there's a run and right in between the runs there's like one issue that's just a random issue. I think you could do that where 3 episodes is this arc or 4 episodes is this arc and then random crossover. 4 episodes this arc, random crossover. So I think putting it into sections or chapters, good idea.
I will agree with that, and I'll point to the latter seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., especially when they went during the you had the Ghost Rider, you had the LMD, that kind of first one where they tried out the 3 arc season at that point. They did that once, and I think the show got progressively better since that season onward with those kind of 3 story arcs. I like that idea. I don't, as Brent and I and Travis and I have said on the show, like Daredevil in the comics has had one of the most storied, epic run of just knockout creators, just hit after hit after hit after hit. It with a few bumps along the way, but most of the time there's a reason why. And Zdarsky's just continuing on in that idea. This character should eventually come on to his own. Like I'm fine with Disney Plus, but I think the character is bound for the big screen after that. With his own movie.
Really?
Yes.
Which is such a massive amount of time that they're giving to
Yep.
Daredevil. 18 episodes is already. I mean, when you talk about a trilogy of 6-hour movies, like that's more time than Thor's had at this point. Like when you add it all up,
I love the idea. I love Snell's idea of the shorter arcs and then like one episode. Basically, it's the fill-in issue. In the comics, it's to give the creative team a chance, or mainly the artist, a chance to catch up, get a little bit ahead, something like that. I love that idea of it. Even if he's only in team ups and cameos afterwards, you're not going to hear me complaining about the amount of content if we're getting 18 episodes of Daredevil. Do you think that they released this 18 weeks in a row?
No, because of Andor. When they showed that they did they've already done 2 episodes per week with Hawkeye and WandaVision.
Then let me modify it. Do you think it'll be 8 consecutive weeks, or will there be a break in between some of the episodes where there is no episode at all?
I could see that. That would be a first, at least because this will be the biggest one. But the question is, we know the year it's coming out. We don't know where it's coming out necessarily in that phase. Are they basically saying at that point they may not have as much Disney Plus planned because of where it is in the phase as we're heading towards the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars? So they may be stretching that to keep in the conversation. Again, like you said with Andor, you do 3 episodes in the first one and then kind of stretch it out so you're not like literally going months upon months upon months with it. But that's where I was thinking about that the other day, and I think that's what they may be doing. They may not be planning a lot of Disney Plus content during that time.
I mean, they could do it in 9 weeks if they drop 2 episodes a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. From
Enjoy
my
those
midnight
late
reviews,
night.
but
Late night reviews.
yeah, I don't want to hear that. No, I agree with Chris. That would be a good way as far as I think if the timing is there's not much content, then it will fill the multiple weeks. But I could even see a break, but we'll see.
All right, from Ronan, if they were to reassemble the Infinity Gauntlet in the Secret Wars movie, similar to the comics, which MCU character would wield it?
Doom.
Yeah, that's specifically like God tier all white Doom as well. Like what's his,
Secret Wars
Secret
Doom.
Wars.
yeah, like specifically that look. No, you're probably right because I always feel whoever does it is going to be a villainous character, and I feel like they're going to help bring Thanos back, even if it's accidentally.
Dr. Freeze.
Yeah, Dr. Freeze for sure. He's the main candidate. Yeah, I was trying to think of any good people that would wield it, but yeah, I would say him, and if it's a good character, I'll say Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, if it's someone like that, because maybe that's someone that could take a snap or do something and not die from it, like if there has to be something Hulk, Iron Man-ish level, but Doom's a really good pick.
How about this one? I'll just say Black Panther. There's precedent. He's wielded
interesting.
the Panther has wielded it before to fix some things. So
Ralph
Interesting
Boner.
idea. Ralph Boner. I'm going to go ahead and
Bill
say
Murray.
that
Bill Murray
probably
can
no
wield
to
it.
Ralph Boner, but you never know. I mean, won't rule it out. All right, that was it for our questions this week. So
right.
you don't have to wait for me to put out a tweet. Just send them to me. I'll add them to the list whenever.
Send them to Brent. Send them to the MA account. Send them to me. All DMs are open at that point. The MA one I may take a little bit to get to, but I'll see it at that point and I'll respond, making sure I get it.
Right now, as you're listening, just pause it, and unless you're driving, of course, and send the question in.
Yeah,
Would that be
don't
bad
do
if I
that
did-
while.
I was gonna say, would it be bad if we didn't answer on the games question? Then you can
Yeah,
send
that
one
would be
in right
bad.
now?
Yeah, that.
I would not be the first time I've copied one out of the chat and added in the notes.
With TVMA, Marvel Zombies, and the R-rated movies now on Disney Plus, are we still 100% ruling out TVMA live action MC shows a few years down the line?
No.
I'm not. No, I think
I'm
an
not.
MA show will. The movie, well, I guess we already got that with Deadpool, right? I think this is a experimental phase because I think they're going to see, because what, you got Deadpool, you got zombies, I guarantee you'll get one more thing, and I think they'll see the traction, how they do success-wise, because let's say they put Marvel Zombies on Disney Plus, and they go, you know what, taking away the family audience, that really did hurt the show. The viewership's quite lower than a lot of the other animation stuff. Let's not do this. I think Deadpool and Zombies are testing grounds for the future, and maybe even Frank Castle if that happens, right? So I think that it is. I think it's on the table depending what happens with these projects.
There's Bubs Jones to chat. The experimental saga.
There you go.
All right. So thank you again, listeners, for sending in those questions. As always, send them in at any point. We will get them. We will add them. All right. Fact or fiction. So these were from last week at that point. They from Brent. There will be at least one solo mutant project prior to the X-Men team up movie, not counting Deadpool and Miss Marvel. 68% said fact, 32% said fiction. What do you say, Travis?
My heart says fiction because I just still want the first one to be X-Men. So I will stick with fiction. I think you do the Big Bang. I think you will see mutants appear in other projects, but a full-on like Scott Summers, Jean Grey, like a movie or a series dedicated to a mutant, I'll say fiction, but I'm not strong on it.
Number 2, Daredevil will appear in Secret Invasion. His powers might be useful. 68% said fact, 32% said fiction.
Oh, 68%. I did not think that many people would go for that one.
I'm a fact just because of stuff we had heard previously. Now, we haven't heard those rumors pop up again in quite some time, but they just seem to, they love the Cox over there. So I feel like it's a good show. It's a good chance.
Everyone does. Everyone does. And number 3, a Skrull will impersonate a young super soldier, Steve Rogers, a.k.a. not Old Man Steve from Endgame. 40% said fact, 60% said fiction.
Yeah, I would go fiction as well. Brent's so mad at my answer, he left. I would go fiction as well because I don't... I see Chris Evans coming back. I don't see, because I feel like after Secret Invasion, do we feel like Skrulls are going to stick around, or do you feel like that's going to be kind of like the capping point for that storyline? Like, I feel like Secret Invasion will pretty much end the Skrulls being a main factor, and that's why I don't think we'll see Chris Evans in the amount of time where we're dealing with Skrulls. So I'm a fiction on it.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Brent, I don't know if you heard Travis was saying he's saying that Secret Invasion will probably mostly end the Skrull story as being kind of a main factor in the MCU.
I would probably go with that. That seems likely to me. I mean, I think they'll still be. I kind of think they're always going to kind of be out there, a possibility, But I think it'll become they maybe show up in the background of Guardians or whatever the future Guardians storylines are, cosmic stories, or if there's a. If the X-Men ever, go out into space and do anything with the Shi'ar, maybe they run into a few of them while they're out there or something. But no, as like a main driving point, I think it's Secret Invasion's it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. So, all right, Mr. Snell, as you are the guest, and you almost forgot.
I did. I was like, oh man, I got to whip some up. But I always have some in the back pocket. But
Yeah.
actually, all these are ones I thought of today because I hadn't done one in a while. I think my factor friction part of my brain was like, oh, I'm ready for this. So.
Go for it.
Okay, first up, Shang-Chi 2 will have another MCU character in a supporting role. My examples are like Black Widow in Winter Soldier and Iron Man 2, Hulk in Ragnarok in that sense. So Shang-Chi 2 will have another MCU character in a supporting role.
I will go fact on that one. I think right now it's one of those things that we haven't seen the Phase 6 slate outside of the 3 movies we are. It's not saying that it couldn't, but if there's not a Shang-Chi, I think that almost guarantees that there will be a significant team up with him in another project.
Yeah, fact. Has there really been a sequel that didn't have another?
I
mean,
just
I
talking
guess you
about
could
number 2 or even
yeah,
the thirds.
Like
Okay, yeah.
you could argue Iron Man 2. I mean, War Machine is an Iron Man character, but I mean, it's another hero. Let's say major part of that role. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Again, it's an Ant-Man character, but she is another one of the heroes.
Dark
Obviously,
World
Winter
doesn't
Soldier.
have that. Obviously,
Okay,
you have
Dark
a Cap
World, I'll give you,
appearance,
yep.
but you don't have that. And even Ant-Man and the Wasp, I wouldn't count because it is someone that spawned from his movie, right? It's not like a new person coming along.
Same with
and
Iron
stuff.
Man.
Yeah.
Strange has it's not on the same side, but Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going fact. It seems likely to me.
I'll go fact as well. I'm hoping it's a fiction because I liked the journey. I'd like more of the journey, depending how the story gets kind of done. My reason being fact is just because I think before, after, if it is, and I think it's looking like it might be before with some rumors that if he is directing Avengers, which that's the announcement, there could be some sort of crossover, more like getting Shang-Chi affiliated with that group. So that's why I'm a fact.
With him doing Destin
Destin,
doing the King Dynasty, he doesn't have a lot of time for
No.
Shang-Chi. Like that's if he's gonna do a Shang-Chi sequel prior to that, it's gotta be moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in the game saying MCU solo sequels are mini crossovers.
It's not wrong.
S-Bub saying team up with Wong makes sense since it's the phase of Wong.
The
you go.
Wong CU.
Shang-Chi and Wong. Not as
This-
anticipated as Morbius and Wong, but
I'm into that. Shang-Chi and Wong, like, yeah, that'd be a fun one. Like, give him a bigger part. You know, he's the one who brought him into the larger universe. Yeah.
I don't think they'd ever call it Shang-Chi and Wong, but I'd be down with Wong to be in it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm looking at you guys. I have the fact or fiction, so
You
there
do.
we go.
It's you.
Here we go. Here's some jumping in the Sonyverse, and I have to say this show has become below itself with this whole Madam Web as the blueprint since I've been gone. What has happened? I knew this hashtag was there, but I thought, well, I'm no longer the host, so I may as well get hip and join the movement. So
Dang right.
So
now. This is not a combined box office. I'm asking separately. Separately, Craven and Madam Web will both have a higher box office than Morbius. So again, not combined. That means Craven would have to be better than Morbius, and Madam Web, Morbius, I think is sitting at like almost 170. It's like 169 or something like that.
163.
Which
Good
160.
God,
Which
it's, I did
couldn't
not know
believe
it was
that.
that low.
It's
Oh my
Morbin
God.
time, baby.
I actually same thing, Brent. That's why
Oh
when
my
I
God, it's so low.
So say it. What is it? What is it at?
but
I mean, made more than Batgirl, but damn.
163.
Stop
when
it.
I started
Stop
this
it.
question, I actually
No,
thought
they
it was
deserve it.
higher. I thought it was like under 300 or something like that. And I was shocked. It's like, man, this really, people that don't think it was a failure, that was. So that means both Craven and Madam Web have to be 164 or higher. Summer Hansey says Craven is going to make $7. So she's a fiction on this one.
Well, I guess
Craven's going to make more than that because they've got my ticket. But
now, Summer, does that mean you've committed to going to Craven?
okay, so just to make sure I understand, you're saying Craven will make 164 or higher, and Madam Web, who's the blueprint, will make 164 or higher.
Yes.
I'll take fact because you got to practically try to bomb this bad. What was the budget on
Where are you,
this thing?
Chris? For Morbius, I think it's like 68 million or something like that. It's somewhere.
It's not
right
even
there,
good
so.
for that low budget.
Man, I'll say fact, but it's like a 51% fact because I will say that Madam Web, I will put out into the ether that Madam Web will do better than Craven because I think the marketing they're going to do for that will be more spider heavy, and if they even hint in getting at the idea of Spider-Man or any spider people beyond the idea of the title character Madam Web, that movie will do better in just its first weekend than Morbius.
Morbius is going to have this record for a long time, I feel like. Well, I say that. What did the New Mutants make?
I don't think 163.
Yeah, no.
But
But that
was
also had pure COVID times, right? Where some theaters
Right.
weren't even open. They weren't even on VOD.
New
so.
Mutants made 44, but no, it's very different. When It's Morbin Time happened, theaters were open, like full open, no restrictions. Yes, they're definitely going to make more than those. It would have been tougher if you'd said more than Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Oh yeah,
Which
of
is
course.
at
I'm not doing
500
that.
million.
Yeah. No. And Summer Hansey is right. I'll go see anything with Aaron Taylor Johnson. Women love Aaron Taylor Johnson. But you know what? I'm gonna go fiction. But I think Chris is right that Madam, because I think it is Craven. I think Craven will be the one. Because I was talking about this on Trash. Told you the reason I have this epiphany now is Craven comes out January 13th. If Avatar 2 performs the same way that Avatar 1 did, it is right in that roughshod area of people will just be seeing Avatar, they'll skip Craven, and notoriously, things have changed now, but back in the day, January was known as like a dumping slot for studios. January and August, where if they didn't believe...
became the new horror month outside of October.
Exactly. Cheap movies. Now, it's not that per se. I think they were putting Craven there because there's nothing out there, but if Avatar is just running the box office, I could see Craven suffering and not getting a chance. I think Madam Web also, I think they'll lean on Spider-Man stuff, but I think it's going to be more trippy and visually pleasing. So people are going to, oh boy. Well, stay tuned to my next Factor Fiction there in a second, S-Bubs, about Eddie Brock comes through the portal first in Madam Web trailer and they sell Madam Web billion tickets. Enough with these Web billions or more billion tickets. Get out of here.
S-Bubs, keep them coming.
But I do think that Madam Web, because it's going to maybe look trippy, people have described it as like their Doctor Strange, which I get a good laugh at. But right, we've heard that descriptor before from like C tier scoopers. But I do think Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney alone are bigger stars than the other tier Johnson. Dakota Johnson had a very successful franchise with 50 Shades, and Sydney Sweeney is arguably in the new most popular show in the world, and that's where I think
Two
people,
most popular shows. You know, your White Lotus. I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but great things about that.
And I think that with that being summer, I think Madam Web has a chance. Do I think Madam Web will be super profitable? Maybe not. But I think Craven has a good chance of maybe doing less than Morbius. I really do. Because I would say Jared Leto is a bigger on-paper star than Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
And even though Morbius is getting lower, Craven is getting even lower for the mainstream audience. And I also just think... I think so for the mainstream. I think at least with Morbius... with it being a vampire, it might have popped up as, Marvel has a vampire character, stuff like that. With Craven...
You have a hunter that's not a hunter?
Well, there's that. But I just think also the same way Madam Web has the visuals, Morbius had it's a vampire and there's some horror slant. I really don't know I don't know how they're going to get general audience people into Craven unless those trailers look really good. But I think Craven's going to bite it. And no pun intended. And if it beats Morbius, it's by like a couple mil, not by much in my opinion. So
whether by an inch or a mile, baby, winning is winning.
Oh, as I feel like maybe I don't know. I feel like Black Adam will easily make more than Madam Web. I don't think Black Adam's going to do as well as DC and The Rock are hoping, but I think it'll beat Madam Web.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
some are saying, and Michael Keaton's going to show up at the end credits and ask Madam Web to help them fight Spider-Man.
We're some good people, eh? Brent, do you not agree that Black Adam's going to beat Madam Web?
No, I do. I never would have even considered the possibility that it wouldn't. I mean, all the Blueprint jokes aside, I'm like, no. I know not every single thing from The Rock, makes massive bank. I think it was summer. Somebody mentioned like Rampage earlier, bombed pretty hard, I think, for example. What was it? He had a movie called Skyscraper or something. I don't know. I saw a trailer for it and never heard about it again. But I would never have even questioned that.
I don't know what.
I mean, plus with like the Pierce Brosnan and stuff, like Black Adam's gonna do fine.
See, and that's where it's funny because I just feel like there's been this narrative lately that Black Adam is just it's not gonna do well, and I'm starting to buy into it. Like it might actually not. I'm very curious when that early box office tracking comes out. I'm very curious because I think it's a bad month.
But remember, it was the most watched trailer in the world. The Rock said so.
94%,
98%,
98% approval.
Approved. Biggest DC, most expensive movie all time. Lot riding on the hierarchy.
I want it to do well enough that we see Black Adam and Shazam.
Huge.
I want to see Black Adam and Shazam. I think.
Now Summer's joining in.
I can get behind that. Pierce Bronson aliens or whatever. He's still a babe. Pierce Bronson has it. No, I think unfortunately I'm not trying to crap on DC because we're in a Marvel show, but I think Black Adam's going to underperform and Shazam's going to underperform, and you're never going to see it. We're never going to see that happening. And Man Web hits $1 billion.
I don't know. We don't know yet if they're moving Shazam back, but anyway, we got off top.
On Craven's date.
Hines and Clay are going to yell at us. We're going in their territory.
And finally, as Spose was talking about portals and Venom, so I wanted to have a fun, wacky one. Tom Hardy's Venom will have a role in Secret Wars. And I'm not saying you just see him because like that would count as like the way the end credits in No Way Home. He will have something like an Infinity size, like a Drax Guardians role, something like that. We will see him because it's all the multiverses and stuff. You could have Toby and Andrew back, so maybe why not? Well, let's bring that guy over. So that's my pitch. Tom Hardy's Venom will have a role in Secret Wars.
So like a couple scenes, couple lines of dialogue at minimum.
Does something for the plot,
Ask why is Gamora. Oh man. I'm gonna say fiction. I'm gonna go ahead and say fact. I'm already like, no, I can't.
I was about to say, I was like, wait a minute, that seems like an obvious.
I think it'll happen. I think they're gonna play nicely together. Fact.
I would love to. I'm gonna say fact, and it's just because I want to see the whole thing. Wait a minute, did you guys fight this alien? That's the alien you fought? No, not that alien, but close.
I think, unfortunately, I'm a fact on this one. I just feel, again, Venom's successful, and technically he has still made an appearance in the MCU, right? He was kicked out right away, but for a while he was in the MCU 616. S-Bubs, don't put that in the universe. Topher Grace and Tom Hardy hold off Dune. I don't want to see Topher Grace back with them, but I think it's going to happen. Now, I don't think it'd be a massive role, but I think we could see him play a part in Secret Wars, and that could be a send off to the character. So
Yep. So, all right. Well, I will post those on Sunday. Let your voices be heard, listeners, on Twitter. And all right. Well, we're gonna close out this as always with Comic Book Club, looking at Secret Wars issue number 5, all about Doom. Brent, what did you think about this?
Doom, man, he's kind of evil, you know,
bad
like
guy.
Kind of.
he's all like, oh, poor my best friend, he died. Oh, we need to find out who got him, who killed him. Figure it out for me. And it's like, dude, it was you the whole time. No, I really enjoyed it. Like it, just seeing what Doom is doing and like the levels at which he's taking it. And as I just love in this Secret Wars mini, like all the Thors, just all those shots of a bunch of Thors together, love it.
Especially when you know everyone else is praising Steven and stuff like that, and you know Doom's not saying a darn word at that point. It's like, yeah, he got out of line. I took him down at that point. It was good. What I did like about this issue is going back in time and seeing, you know, what they've already referred to of how this all came about and why Doom took control. So it was a good, like, you know, pause of an issue considering kind of the amount of action we've gotten. So I mean, I like the issue, but it was definitely it's another one that's lower on my list in the sense of like it's just kind of a break at that point. It's definitely setting up some big stuff, especially with that cover of the next issue. Looks like Thanos is gonna have some trouble with the Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, that cover is awesome. This was a quick issue, you know, and if I'm honest, I really enjoyed like some of it, but I did kind of hesitate for a second time. Did I read this one? Like it's been a long week, but yeah, I was like, oh no, I read this one. Yeah, it's, you know, Doom is, I mean, he's doing Doom things, and he's, you know, manipulating everybody.
Doom got a Doom.
Doom's gonna Doom. He's trying to hold on to this pseudo fake world that he's put together, and it's gonna start unraveling soon.
Yep. So, all right. Well, we will head to the next issue next week at that point. And all right, we've come to the end of a great episode. Not much news, but you know we can stretch that. We can stretch the conversations.
of course.
Yep. So, Mr. Snell, as always, it is a pleasure to have you on.
No, it's fun. I always love sneaking in on the non-news ones because that's when we can riff and talk about Black Adam, $1 million, whatever the hell that word is. But no, it's good to be back. Yeah, I thank you for having me back. I'm excited. We got MCU content next week with She-Hulk. We got some with I Am Groot, of course, but still, She-Hulk. We get back in that world and meet some new people and meet some new things, and pretty excited for that. So hope everyone is happy and healthy out there.
And as always, plug your show. Plug yourself.
As I choked to death from Doom. But no, Travis B. Snell, you can find me doing a bunch of stuff. As I've said right now, I'm on my 5 weeks. I'm down a week too, so I got 3 more weeks, but I'm doing my solo cast, and these have been fun. And yeah, doing that. Geekverse is still rolling. We're doing reviews and a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, thank you for following me there if you do.
Brent?
Yeah, Brent Tech Prime on Twitter and TikTok, and I told you earlier, Snell, I'm enjoying the solo cast you're doing. That's not easy, so I definitely would encourage people to go check those out.
Yeah, definitely. And as always, want to plug, again, our official sponsor, OrganicPriceBooks.com. Use that code MarvelGUA at checkout for $2 off every single order. You can follow me on Twitter at Chris Balga. You can follow this show on Twitter at Marvel A Podcast. You can follow the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network on Twitter at GUA Pod Network. You can email the show at marvelalliancepodcast@gmail.com, and you can feel free to tweet, email if you want to provide feedback, questions, fact or fictions. All DMs are open across the board for all of us. Continue to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcatcher your choice may be. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. Stay safe out there, everyone. And as Stan the Man would say, Excelsior, true believers. All right, so post-credits, we've got, as we've said a number of times tonight, we've got the big new, last series for the year on Disney Plus with She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So let us pontificate about our predictions for the show. Hopes, dreams, Cool Ranch predictions, more Cox action going on with Charlie. So,
Well, we should probably pick up where Brent said, because you were gonna say something about how many episodes or where it might be originally. So yeah, what was your pitch there?
It was just going to be like, how many episodes do we think we'll see Daredevil, and what episode do we think he will first appear in?
I will go with probably episode 2.
Whoa, episode 2
Comes out firing.
Oh, I take it back. Let me take that back. I'll say episode 3. I'll do episode 3.
I think because in my opinion, think he's in. I think he's in 2, and then maybe 3rd, but as like a end credit, like a tease to something. I don't know. I might even go 3 and then a tease, but I think one of them is just a post credits. But I think it's midway. I think they're gonna. I'd say after 4 or after, because I think that they're gonna take the first few episodes to set her up in her journey, especially because we've seen the runtimes. They are a lot shorter, right? So that's my thing, is 4 or after, and then I think he's gonna be in 3 solid. Well, here's what I think. I think he's gonna debut at the end of 1 episode, be in 2 episodes solid, and then have an end credit. So technically 4, but yeah, that's my prediction.
4 total. I feel like 3, probably 2 episodes. The 1 credit scene idea I think is a good one. I could see the show ending with a credit scene teasing his next appearance and Echo. There were rumors that Echo was going to be his part of Echo would include him searching for Jessica Jones. Maybe that story is going to start here.
I say what we've seen, like the intro of him leaping and doing it. That's our intro. That's how, and that is the end of an episode.
Yeah, you're probably right about that being the end of an episode. What about She-Hulk herself? Like, are we going to have powers in the first episode?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I think as I said, I love what I've seen in the fourth wall breaking. It fits. It's definitely is already kind of ringing true on that one. And Tatiana is just going to kill it with this. But I think the thing that's going to really people are going to enjoy, and they've already previewed it are those training sequences. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, here's my question to you. How many episodes is Bruce Banner going to be in? Because remember, way back when this show was still kind of be doing, they talked about how this would be also diving into Jennifer's view of Hulk's father kind of being basically, a physically abusive, kind of mentally abusing kind of dad.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything on that recently, have we?
It could have been dropped. I mean, remember, they went through significant changes, if it's to be believed. So it might have been at one point, but the question still stands, how many episodes do we see Ruffalo?
That storyline, though, is also something you probably wouldn't advertise, though, right? Like, Hulk and his abusive dad. Like, you'd probably keep that. There's not really a way of marketing.
Yeah, but it's kind of a hard one because they're marketing it and talking about it like it's a comedy. But, let's talk about the abuse.
Yeah,
that was funny.
It doesn't fit, though, what they're advertising either.
Yeah, but people complained about that with Moon Knight, though, too, right? That they felt the advertising was very dark, and then it was a lot more comedic. So I think you could get 2 episodes in here that are more the darker fare. I don't know about that storyline, but I'm saying 6 or more for Bruce. I think because he'll appear and pop in many episodes, even if she just calls him and he's on the other end of the phone. What I'm just interested is if we get I hope we do get the actual explanation of why he switched back to Bruce, because we left him at the end of Avengers. He was Professor Hulk. We saw him again in Shang-Chi, and then he's Hulk again. So I'm excited to see, is that him transferring? Is there something that happened? I don't know, but 6 or more is my barometer.
Okay, couple Hulk questions. One, is there any reference to his arm being damaged at the end of Endgame and better now?
The question is, where is this in the timeline? Because everything else has been like, it's after the last one, it's after the last one. We've heard a lot of stuff, a lot of things.
This could be during the blip for all we know.
It could be, 100%.
It could be during the blip.
Especially if you're talking about Avengers and needing them. Like, their Avengers seem pretty quiet at Endgame, but still just, you may need heroes, right? So
We've talked about this in the sense of everything just comes after it. So will this be the first one that is a prequel of everything else?
Will Bruce and the Abomination share a scene?
Oh.
Yes. I think now it could have been a writer's room, but I think he may have spoiled that because what's his name? Tim Roth had a very funny joke that when he bumped into Mark Ruffalo, he said, "Oh, you look a lot different than the last time I saw you," obviously referring to Edward Norton. So
I'd appreciate that kind of joke.
Yeah, that could just be the cast got together. But I do think, and honestly, I hope so, because if they don't, to me, that would be a very big missed opportunity. Even if it's just one scene of them visiting, talking, I'd feel pretty disappointed if we didn't get any acknowledgement. Because in the trailer, she's saying he had a problem with my cousin, this and that. If we get no Abomination Bruce or Blonsky Bruce, I would put that in kind of my negatives for the show as just missed opportunities.
On the game, asking in the chat, is the 9-episode count similar to WandaVision What If situations where the producers of those shows confirmed that their 10th episode was lost due to COVID?
That happened with WandaVision?
I thought that was I thought that was a joke with WandaVision.
Well, yeah, I think
there were
was a joke,
rumors
yeah.
of like, oh, there's a secret 10th episode. Well, I don't remember that with WandaVision at all. But what if 100% there was the Gamora episode and we're getting that in season 2?
I don't think that's the case here. I think they made it for 9. And WandaVision, the only mix-up was, remember, Feige at one point in an interview said they were still deciding the episode count. Because you can tell some of those were split. At some point, he was like, we've had it this way, we've had it that way. So, no, and I don't think this one was changed because of COVID. I think they meant it to be the 9. I think 9 is their smaller, fair thing, and we'll have to see what a Daredevil is.
Yeah, Summer says her prediction is that Hulk never explains going back to Bruce, and they'll never address him being human in Shang-Chi.
I mean, again, depending on when this takes place, they might not have to.
Yeah.
They better, because I don't want to be like an idiot of being like, don't worry, they'll explain it. They always do. Or what they'll do is they won't explain it here, and then it's much like I felt like the Russos in Civil War were like, how come we never explain how Tony went from Iron Man 3 and back into the Avengers? And Civil War, there was a lot of like, let's fix some things. Like, oh yeah, him and Pepper got, like, they broke up. That's why he came back. You know, like, what will happen is you'll get that line fixed. Like,
Gwyneth
in
Paltrow
Shang-Chi
remembered
2.
she was in a movie.
Yeah. You'll get that line like
She didn't
fixed
know
in
which
Shang-Chi
movie,
2.
but she was in one.
She got a paycheck for it.
Yeah. All right. Not saying we have to say like what characters, because that's just going to get it could be anything at that point. How many cameos of legit, not like Frogman, not like, Porcupine Man, but some other legit superheroes we've never seen in the MCU or have seen in the MCU are we going to get that we haven't seen yet?
I unfortunately, because the world we live in, I'm gonna say none, because I feel like we would have been spoiled by them by now. Most of the MCU stuff, they're not like Star Wars, where Star Wars can still keep some secrets. Most of the cameos we kind of get a rumor of, so I think that I'll say 0. I think we've been shown what we're getting.
Okay. Well, apparently all in the game said Shakeman confirmed on Batman Beyond.
About WandaVision.
Yeah. That 10th
Okay,
episode.
there you go.
I think there will be somebody other than the Hulk and Daredevil. I think there will be somebody. A long time ago there were rumors of Jessica Jones. I think we will see. I think there will be somebody that we have seen in a Marvel live action project before.
Yeah, I'll go 1 or 2. 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So,
but you know what? I don't want it to be cameo of the week show either. Like, again, it needs to be She-Hulk show.
That's what she says in the trailer, right? It isn't just all about cameos. Yeah.
There you go.
yeah. But any other predictions before we close it out, gentlemen?
No, I think I'm going to have a good time with it. From everything I've seen in the trailers, I like what I'm seeing. I did not think She-Hulk would be one of my more anticipated MCU ones, but I'm ready. And you know what? As a person that does review them at midnight, I'm not mad at those runtimes. 23 minutes, perfect. But no, I'm very excited.
Yeah. And Les Pups, Megan Thee Stallion cameo confirmed.
Is it confirmed? Is that confirmed that she's in it? That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll still stick with it. I've said it in our predictions. I said She-Hulk will surprise a lot of people. It will be the surprise hit that people will be like hearing it saying, really? That's good. Maybe I'll check it out at that point. So, but all right, we will be here. Remember, She-Hulk is not going to be on Wednesdays. Right. It'll be dropping Thursdays. So we will be coming to you freshly having seen it maybe twice, since they are half an hour at that point. We're going to do our best at that point. But again, same time as She-Hulk comes out, we will drop our episode that night, breaking it all down for you. So enjoy She-Hulk, ladies and gents. We'll see you next week.